Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Hey, what do you want to da-da-da?
I don't know. What do y'all think we should da-da-da?
Well, what did we da yesterday?
Yesterday.
All the days feel like the same day these days.
I know.
Like, is today Monday or Tuesday?
Today is Thursday.
Oh no, I forgot to call my mom on her birthday.
Oh no!
No!
These days, nothing is normal and everything is weird. But you could still save big when you switch to Progressive. That won't change. Not today or any day.
Quote today at Progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Beer Nuts, a weekly excursion into the world of craft beer, brought to you by MichiganBeerGuide.com. And now, here are the Beer Nuts.
Welcome to Beer Nuts, episode 169. Drink what you got. So, we had a great time last week for a virtual happy hour, and we liked that format so much. So, instead of being a structured show, it's a good thing we planned this because we've got 9, yes, count them 9 beer nuts, including our beer news correspondent, Zeke. So we're going to go around the horn and introduce everybody really quick, and then we're just going to have a nice session full of great beer drinking. So we're going to start out in Michigan with Dugout.
All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Dugout. I am in Clawson, Michigan, and the beer for tonight is from Shorts Brewery in Bel Air, Michigan, up north, and it is a rye whiskey aged Goodnight Bodacious. So a double black IPA aged in rye whiskey barrels. It's coming in at about 12.5%.
Awesome. That sounds delicious. We're going to go stay in Michigan now for Welcome Schmitty. Welcome back, Greg.
Hey, everybody. Good evening. Greg in Dearborn, Michigan. And my beer that I'm bringing is from Holmes Brewery out of Ann Arbor. This is their composition number 6. Which is a fruited sour with watermelon, vanilla. Looking forward to trying it. Hopefully it's really, really good.
All righty then. Staying in the state of Michigan with John Golden.
All right, so I am drinking from the 21st Amendment Brewery out in California, a Brew Free or Die Blood Orange IPA, brewed with blood oranges and natural flavors.
All right. Let's go a little bit further south down to North Carolina to Ross.
Okay. What I'll be having tonight is Bond Brothers Beer Company Assault on the Senses. They're from Cary, North Carolina. This is a barrel-aged stout. It's hazelnut coffee, vanilla, and sea salt. And it's 14.3%. So, looking forward to this.
All right. And we're going to continue south to introduce a new beer nut. Welcome, John Hill from Atlanta.
Hey guys, good to be here. Thanks for inviting me. I am drinking a Cherry Street Brewing 12-12-12, which is the day they were originated. This is from their 7th anniversary. They brew it every year. It's a English style barley wine aged in different barrels every year. And this particular one is brewed in aged in Baker's Bourbon.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to hear more about that one. And I've had some great stuff from Cherry Street. So welcome, John, and let's go back up north a little bit to the state of Delaware to Scott.
Good evening, everybody. How are you all doing? Tonight, I'm going to be drinking a beer from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. The name of the brewing company is Westbrook Brewing Company. The name of the beer is Mexican Cafe or Mexican Cake.
Oh. Nice one. That needs no introduction. A lot of us know about that, and it's a treat. So enough of the East Coast. We're going to go coast to coast now all the way to the left coast. Steve V in L.A.
Hello, everybody. I will be drinking a lovely beer that my sister brought me from up in Oregon. It's from Portland, Oregon. It's from a Breakside Pilsner from Breakside.
Awesome. And over here to Tucson, Arizona, to Vail, Arizona, specifically, JR here, and I will be drinking a beer called Darker Subject Matter from Monday Night Brewing in Atlanta. And before I mentioned John Hill was kind enough to ship me some beers from the great state of Georgia. And this just arrived on my doorstep a couple hours ago and immediately chilled it down and can't wait to enjoy it on the show. So thank you for that, John. So before we move on, also want to introduce Z Beer Man, who will be delivering the news tonight about halfway through the show. So welcome, Z.
Hey, welcome, John. I'm going to be virtually drinking a Dixie beer because it's now a craft. It was founded back in 1907, but the new brewery just opened up January 25th, 2020, just in time for COVID. But they have a brand new facility, and when things lighten up again, I think that's going to be a place when I go back to New Orleans to enjoy a new rendition of a very old classic beer.
Amen. Awesome. All right. So before we start our virtual happy hour format, there's a lot of us here, so a lot to talk about, a lot of great beers to get through, and some beer news. So can't wait to get started. But before we do that, as always, we want to invite all our listeners to please open a beer. Whatever you're drinking is fine with us. We're not a bunch of pretentious beer snobs. We're just a bunch of regular guys that really enjoy good beers, and we want to introduce more good people to more good beer. So, everybody, looking forward to the show. Who wants to start it off? I think John Golden was like raring to go when we were talking in the pregame, so we'll let him start off.
All right. So, like I mentioned before, I have this Brew Free or Die Blood Orange IPA from 21st Amendment Brewery, and I'm cracking it open right now. And let's give it a pour and see what we get. All right, so this has got a nice, healthy white head on it. It's a little slightly hazy. It's a nice gold color. It's definitely got a very citrusy nose on it. Very good. They say it's actually dry hopped with some citrus hops in addition to the blood oranges that they've added, and the hops actually come through very nice. The orange is actually pretty subtle. I've had some blood orange honey beers where it's kind of like, oh, we're calling this blood orange beer, so we better put lots and lots and lots of it in there. I actually prefer this way, where you taste it, it's subtle, but it still tastes like an IPA, like a beer. Let me get another taste here. So yeah, it's just a very pleasant beer. I know it's a 7%, but it's very very drinkable, very quaffable. I could actually get in trouble if I had a 6-pack of these or something, because I would just drink them down like nothing. There's no alcohol flavor to it. There's a little bit of sweetness, though I don't think that's residual. I think that's really just coming from the oranges. The hops, like I said, are citrusy, but there's also a little bit of floral in there as well. Nice body to it, just kind of not a real heavy, not real light, just kind of a little bit medium, maybe slightly lower than medium, but very nice beer. So I'm going to keep it short because we've got a bunch of us today. So that's about all I have on this one. Just like I said, really good beer.
Has anyone else had this one?
I know I've had it before, and I would have to agree with John Golden on the use of orange in it, and I think orange is a tricky ingredient to put in beer. If you have it in small amounts, or you have a hop that may have sort of orange characteristics, I think that's definitely palatable. But when you start to mix things that taste like orange juice, to me it starts to taste like sour orange juice, and that's kind of gross. But that one's a good one. I've had that a few times.
I'm a big fan of 21st Amendment, and I'm pretty sure I've had Brew Free or Die, the regular IPA, and I'd love to search out this blood orange one. I really do love blood orange, and it sounds fantastic. So,
yeah, It's their regular the regular brew free or die IPA, but with the addition of the oranges. So it's still got that nice flavor of the original.
Yeah, they do make some great beers there. I don't think I've ever had anything that I was disappointed in.
All right, who else is thirsty? Come on, everybody, liven up a little bit.
I think we're all thirsty, right?
We're all drinking. That's why nobody's talking.
I'm almost ready to do another one.
It's like a good meal. Everybody's enjoying it.
Well, I can go. I mean, I've got this, as I mentioned when the show started, I've got this Shorts Brewing Goodnight Bodacious aged in rye whiskey barrels, 12.5%, 70 IBUs. The cool thing about this beer was this was a home delivery. Shorts did a sort of a test run for delivering beers, and they had some bourbon barrel aged beers, so I picked one of 3. I've since drank 2, and I don't know that I was very impressed by the first 2. I thought they were probably rushed to be released and weren't carbonated properly. This one does not fall into that trap. This is amazing. I mean, it pours really well. The carbonation's great. In the nose, you get all types of rye whiskey, but you're getting some dark fruits in there. It's black as night. And it is a double IPA base, so, and there's a good amount of hops left in this. A really nice amount of hops. Gosh, I don't know that I've had a beer that has been aged like this with this much hop still in it. It's outstanding. I mean, this is one of my favorite beers. I know I've reviewed it at least once on the show, not the rye whiskey, but yeah, the rye barrel is adding some pepperiness to it. It mixes in really well with the hops. It's just A++ in my book. I'm giving this an outstanding rating.
Well, one thing I miss about not being in Michigan is always loved Shorts. There was so many offerings. Every 2-3 weeks, a new one comes out, and we all have our favorites. I remember Superfluid was one I really liked, and Freedom of 78 with the guava in it. But they're hit or miss. I've had some really good beers and some really disgusting beers from Shorts, but I do miss the availability of getting them because they're not available in Arizona. But that was one that when I heard the style and that it was barrel aged, I was like, wow, Doug, you're really pushing the limits there. But glad that you're giving it a great rating. Again, there's some great and not so great from that brewery, and it sounds like you found a gem.
Yeah, and I'd have to agree with you on the sort of all over the map. I've never found them to actually brew average beers, but they're either out of the park great or, oh my gosh, drain pour.
Like that graham cracker one had.
I mean, they do have some that are kind of weird and out there that, I don't like for good reason.
What was that graham cracker you had? One that had chunks of graham crackers.
Oh, that was just a poor job brewing it. I had to filter that beer out with a sieve. There were these huge chunks of graham crackers in a s'mores beer. And so I wrote them and told them about it. And then they're like, well, it's made with graham crackers. It's supposed to have them in there. And I'm like, not full ones, like you grind it up and you put it in the boil so that you get the sugar out of the graham crackers and you capture some of the flavor. You don't leave them in there. But anyways, they refunded my money. I was happy about it.
Well,
they sent me a paper check.
Their mainstay, the Huma Lupa, is very good too.
Huma Lupa,
so
that's always in the fridge. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, who else wants to review? Who's up next?
Shoot, I'll go. I don't care.
Go for it.
Happy to. All right. Let me
happy hour.
Turn on my video. Well, as I said before, mine's from Holmes Brewing Company out of Ann Arbor. This is their Composition 6 watermelon and vanilla beans. So just a little backstory on this. This is a series of mixed cultured sours fermented in a selection of oak barrels and blended to balance the acidity prior to introducing fruit. So this is a blend of golden sours fermented in oak puncheons, then re-fermented with watermelon and vanilla bean, and then bottle conditioned with champagne yeast. So it's a 750 milliliter bottle. I think I picked this thing up last weekend. So there was a release online, which, with everything else going, it's been really smooth for the homes, and been really enjoying these online ordering and, curbside pickup. So beautiful, golden color, like a hazy, much lighter looking than like a pale ale, but just hazy yellow as can be. A lot of tiny bubbles coming up out of the glass, and just a gorgeous, gorgeous beer. First scent, smell out of it. You get a lot of funkiness. You get a little bit of sweetness. You definitely get some of that woodiness from the oak, but I'm getting a little bit of fruitiness. But nothing like it's punching in the face like it's watermelon. So first taste. Cheers. More of the same. Just woo. I think it's a puckerable one. It's almost like a warhead candy. It catches your, takes away your breath a little bit, but really great mouth coating. Tart, really tart. A little bit of sweetness, a little bit of creaminess from the vanilla. You pick up that nice, fruitiness in there, but like I said, with the smell, it's not really like watermelon forward. And I imagine it's really hard to capture a watermelon flavor without having to reproduce it artificially or however. But this is really good. I mean, it's light. This is an 8% beer. But she drinks like a 4.5 to a 5%. This is really dangerous. It's another excellent sour beer from Holmes. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about this. And those guys are really doing a great job over there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, all you Michigan guys must be the thirstiest because you're all done already. Well, you're not done because on this format, anybody can talk at any time. There's no structure.
Yeah.
So, but you're the first few motivated to drink and be excited to review. So thank you for that.
Probably because we have to go to bed first.
That's true. So,
well, we do want to have another one after this.
That's a better reason. I like your style, John Gold. All right. Well, somebody on the East Coast who wants to go next? Anybody?
If anybody's got to bed early, that's me, right? I'm on the East Coast, so
go for it then, Ruts.
So, as I said earlier, what I'm having tonight is Bond Brothers Assault on the Senses, which is a relatively new pastry stout they made. I know it's hard to believe I'm doing another pastry stout, but I buy what I can get. So I got this as a curbside pickup from the brewery last week. Actually, this was the second batch of it I got. I got it some 2.5 weeks ago. I bought a 4-pack, and then it was so good I went back and got 2 more 4-packs of it. So what this is like I said, it's a barrel aged hazelnut coffee, vanilla, and sea salt. And when I first poured it, you can see that it's nice and black. When I first poured it, it had about a finger of really dense head that went away pretty quick. And the smell it's coffee right out of the gate, and the vanilla, and then not much else. It's really just straight up the coffee smell and the vanilla. And the taste on it, so what you get is you get the coffee and the vanilla, and then it really has a chocolate taste to it. I guess that's a combination of what they've got going on, but it says it's got the sea salt. You don't really get that like you do with other, like you would with like a caramel salted kind of stout. But what this is really thick. This is the motor oil. This is a sipper, and I'm glad it was kind of cool today, and it's not going to heat up until tomorrow. But this is definitely another one that's good for a winter evening. But since I could only get them this time of year, and I don't know when they'll make it again, I decided to go out and get some. This is a really thick, desserty beer. And I will slowly sip this for the rest of the evening. So.
Oh, that's easy on that winter talk now, Ross. Come on now. We're just getting into the warm stuff. Come on.
Well, ours, we actually got cold the last couple days again, so I thought we were past this, but
yeah, that's true. Us as well.
So okay. Anyway, this is good stuff. I know Bond Brothers has never made a stout that I've been disappointed in, and they hit another winner here. So I'll pass it on to somebody else.
Awesome.
We have 9 people. Yep.
All right. We actually have gone through 4 of us. I don't know, maybe one more and then the news, or do you want to do the news now? What do you guys want? Z-Beer Man, you ready? Scott, you ready?
Yeah, do one more.
One more. Okay, Scott, then the news. So go for it, Scott.
Okay. Well, as I said, I'm doing the Mexican cake tonight, and I started earlier because I've got a bomber. So
Nice.
So I started while you guys were going. So I'm already feeling the effects of the 10.5% alcohol content, which is alcohol by volume, which is just amazing. It's a great feeling beer.
Yeah, party time.
So
and by the way, we all do that. We all open the beers way before the show starts, and sometimes we run out and have to get more.
That's right. So when I pour this beer, when I open it and pour it, it's like Ross just said, motor oil. It's thick and viscous and very heavy looking as it pours. It's jet black in color. It is completely opaque. The head is tight and thin. So the appearance is gorgeous to me. I'm a big stout guy, and I like stout. Nice, Ross. So it's absolutely an amazing beer. I'm going to hold up so you guys haven't seen it before, but it's just gorgeous. The smells I get from it right away from the nose, I'm going to go with the lighter smells first because, of course, there's a heavy bourbon smell, but I'm picking up like some cinnamon and some vanilla. It says there's chocolate in here, but I can't smell it. It's peppery. It smells very peppery. And on the drink, on the tongue, oh my God, there's a lot going on. It's first of all, it has a great mouthfeel. It feels like it poured. It feels thick and viscous. And immediately you get that cinnamon chocolate taste, which is just really phenomenal. And then the pepper kicks in. There's a habanero pepper in it, it feels like. And that just sits right on the back of your throat and reminds you that you need another drink. I would say this is probably going to go down as one of my all-time favorites. This is a absolutely delicious beer. It would go amazing with a steak dinner, a big, thick, middle of the country steak dinner. This is an absolutely delicious beer. I would follow this up if I were going to drink any more with one of those delicious sours that I've been having lately, the really fruity sours as a dessert, because this and a sour is a complete meal and dessert. And that pretty much is my review because we have so many people.
That's awesome, man. And I have a bottle of that. I was rooting through my cellar the other day and found a bottle that I didn't know I had. I'm sure that Russ probably had something to do with procuring that. So, and that's one of the great beers that you don't have to have a barrel-aged variant. It just stands alone fine, the regular everyday one. Not that the barrel-aged variants aren't great, too, because they are, but I like that beer just the way it is as well. So you don't have to have one of the special ones. It's still a truly iconic, great, fantastic beer.
Yeah. The only thing to keep in mind about those is you don't want to keep them too long because the pepper really does. It's one of those things from year to year. I guess kind of like the KBS and the coffee. And some years the coffee goes and some doesn't. But there's some years the cake after about 18 months there's almost no pepper left. So
I'll tell you this, Ross. You mentioned when, and I received this beer from Ross. He warned me. He said, "Hey, look, you got to drink these pepper beers quicker than you would normally." And what, Ross? This was 6-7 months ago. You gave this to me. Your last visit, I think.
You're on mute, Russ.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it would have been a while ago.
And it still feels it's not an overpowering pepper. It's not at all uncomfortable like some beers that you get. They just really try, like the hot beers. They go too far. They try too much to throw in the pepper. This is just a hint, and it leaves that afterburn in the back of your throat, and it's perfect. And it's 6 or 7 months since you gave it to me.
Yeah. It tends to come out right around Cinco de Mayo. Sometimes every now and then it's been a little bit later, but it tends to come right about Cinco de Mayo. So that was last year's. Yeah.
I have a feeling mine might be 2 Cinco de Mayos ago, so I'm going to take your advice, Russ, and put it in the fridge and take one for the team and pop it open pretty soon here, maybe this weekend.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Yeah, sure, the players bring some skill to the game, but if I don't put them in my lineup, who cares? Not me. I'm Eric Rubino, fantasy baseball GM and league runner-up 2 of the last 9 years. I use the Progressive Name Your Price tool with options based on my budget. And for a guy that's used to being in control, it fits. Like this runner-up t-shirt. Champ gets a trophy, but you can't wear a trophy. Boom.
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
All right, let's take a little news break and bring on Z Beerman from Huntington Beach, California. Welcome, Z.
Gentlemen, John.
For us.
Hey, there's a lot of interesting things that are going on, but some of the numbers have come in. And what's really interesting, of course, is that the off-premise business is really is really continuing to surge along. Northern California numbers have come in, and craft beer is up big. Firestone's up 26.5%. Sierra's up 22%. Lagunitas up 38%. So really the top 10 craft beers, they're all outperforming. So if any brand that's in the grocery stores, supermarkets, chain stores, they're all doing well. And then conversely, the smaller micros, the ones that do not have distribution in the off-premise grocery stores, are trying to survive, like we've mentioned before, with pickup and growlers to go. We're seeing now they're starting to report filings for Chapter 11 or Chapter 13. So that's a sad thing, and we want to make sure that all of our listeners are doing their best to adopt a local brewery and get some growlers to go. But the big story right now, if you have your beer in any of the grocery stores, you're doing almost as well as if you were selling both on and off premise. So the off premise is making up for the losses for craft beer. It's not true for the domestics, but certainly true for the craft beers. John, I know you were getting beer from your local. It's not so local for you, but I wanted to hear if any of the other team members have been calling up and ordering growlers to go from any of their local favorites.
Yeah, I know that I have quite a few growlers and bottle deliveries and can deliveries and some curbside. And, I've been doing my fair share at the grocery store as well. And I do anyways. I mean, they carry some of the staples, and once in a while they'll get stuff in. And I think KBS was mentioned earlier in the show, and I saw 4 packs of KBS and CBS in Meijer this week for, I think it was $15.99 or $16.99. Anyways, dirt cheap, just dirt cheap, giving it away. And I'm like, okay, bought a 4-pack of KBS. And, the problem is right now, none of that stuff lasts long. And, it's just like, do I drink 4 of this or 4 of something that's a little cheaper? I don't know. I know it was gone the same day.
I think you should drink 4 KBS all at once, especially the bombers.
That's kind of what happened. I mean, they went in a big glass and 2 at a time and done. I'll teach them not to sell bombers.
Yeah. So also, unfortunately, the small distilleries are similar to the micro breweries where, if they didn't have any distribution, that they're down. So it looks like they're average down about 64%, completely different than what's happening with the rest of the distilled spirits business being up 43%. But another interesting fact that's going on, I don't know if you're familiar that ABI was trying to corner the home brew market, and they actually bought home brew, and they've now just sold it off, and they say they're going to just shift to their global craft, their drink works, and e-commerce opportunities. So I don't know if any of you had any dealings with any of their owned home brew.
Was it Northern Brewing? Was it Northern Brewing that they brewed that they bought?
Yeah, Northern Brewer. They bought Minnesota-based Northern Brewers, one they purchased. I just didn't know you guys are home brewers if you had dealt with them at all.
I did a long time ago, but when they got bought out, I kind of went, no, that's okay.
That's exactly what I did too.
So I would imagine that probably was a factor in them stepping away, because a lot of the home brewing community walked away. Oh, if that's who they're owned by, we'll take in more business elsewhere.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't think of it that way. I just thought that maybe the margins weren't there because the alcohol isn't added to it, so they're better with their added value part.
It was a quieted walkout on their business, basically. Most people discussed it through their homebrew clubs or, some Facebook chats, things like that, and just said, no, I'm good. I can find other sources. I don't need to give my money there.
I got you. Well, similarly, we've talked about the Pico brew before. John's borrowing mine. Still hasn't cleaned it yet, I bet. But,
I have.
You did?
Get
ready to brew.
What's the Pico brew update?
I just cleaned it up and got to get some ingredients and brew.
Well, so Pico brew is the Keurig of beer, just similar to the Keurig coffee maker, where you go through a few more steps, but in a few short weeks you have yourself some beer. Anheuser-Busch also owned a stake in that, and they sold that one out as well. So really interesting where they're starting to put their money in. They started to come out with a bunch of different seltzer brands and other alcoholic brands that are mostly brewed similar to beer, so it can be taxed as beer, but really very much more like mash that you would use for distilled spirits before you distill it, only using a different brewing method to, instead of getting a 11% alcohol before they distill it at least twice, coming up with a higher alcohol content so they can make mixed drink cocktails out of it. So right now they're debuting these craft cocktails that are like old fashions and similar sidecars and old classic recipes in 12-ounce cans, and getting, asking pretty high prices for it. It's very similar to if it had distilled spirits in it. So they seem to be investing in their money in that direction. I just thought that was interesting, and should you guys ever get a chance to try one, I haven't seen one yet, be interested to know how much it tastes like one of those original cocktails.
Well, can't be any worse than a peanut butter beer.
Well, all right. I'll let the next person talk about their beer.
Well, real quick on that, I was going to interject going back to the curbside pickup and what everybody's doing. I want to give a shout out to all the bottle shops and all the craft brewery places around here. I don't know if it's like this everywhere else, but they got their online stores up and running like that. Almost none of these places in North Carolina had any kind of online presence as far as sales. They had their websites, of course, which kind of told you what you could get, but they got all their shops up quick, and they're keeping their inventories up to date. And I've been very happy with all the service I've done down here. I don't know what your guys' experience has been, but I'm headed down. I made an order with Southern Pines. They're about an hour and 20 minutes away from me. And they said, sure, whenever you get here, we'll keep it in the back for you. Whatever the product I've ordered is just going to be sitting there. And if it takes me 3 days to get there or a week and a half to get there, it's still going to be there with my name on it, and I can come pick it up. So I'm very happy with the service we've been getting around here on that. These guys are all doing whatever they can to get this stuff out their doors, and the bottle shops as well. When I went to visit Beer Study last week, they just had orders laid out on all their tables where people are normally sitting, everybody with their little check on it and, with their list of stuff. And it was all just ready to go whenever somebody was coming. And they were the same thing, whether you ordered it that day and you were going to pick it up that day or next day or 3 days later, it was there ready to go for you. So I just want to give a shout out to these guys for actually getting all their stuff together that quick. Being in the business I'm in as a dev, watching all these guys get their websites up and running with their inventories and everything else that quickly, it's been pretty amazing. Of course, they're working to keep their businesses open, but they've got up some pretty quality storefronts. They may be basic in terms of inventories and how you order stuff, but it's all there, it's all working, and they're taking payments and getting your product to you. So.
Yeah, all the local brewers I deal with have online stores now where, like you said, you can order it a day or two ahead. Now, I actually drove up to Pueblo Vita Brewing in downtown Tucson a couple weeks ago, and I was in the area, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go see if I can order. And I pulled up to like a 15-minute loading zone parking place right across the street from the door of the brewery, and I went online and I placed an online order. And I got a message saying your order will be ready in like 20 to 30 minutes or something. So I called the brewery. I was right outside. I said, hey, I just placed an online order. Is it going to be a half hour till I can get my beer? Oh, no, where are you? And I said, right across the street. And I waved. They said, oh, we'll be right there. So within 2 minutes, somebody actually marched the order out to my car. I had paid with a credit card, put it right in the car for me, and said thank you. A lot of cool things.
A lot of peanut butter beer?
No peanut butter beer, I can assure you. Just good, mostly hazy and some West Coast IPAs is what I've. Yep. Anybody else got any comments on the news or the craft beer scene ordering where you are?
Yeah. In Atlanta, all the breweries are doing to go right now, and we had a company start up here about a year and a half ago called Craft Cellar. I don't know if you guys have run into that, but they do online app ordering. And so when this whole thing started, we had tons of breweries just sign up for this because it automatically got them hooked up. And it's just an app, and they've got all the breweries in there. You click in, and you can pick whatever beer you want. You can order it. And once you purchase it, you go show up at the brewery. You click the claim button in front of them. They hand you your beer. And it's
nice.
Yeah.
What's the name of that? What's the name of that one?
Craft Cellar. Cellar is spelled CELLR. And there's some Atlanta guys that started that up, but they get a little kickback of any purchases made, and the breweries, they'll allocate however many bottles or 6-packs or whatever they want for Craft Cellar, and they'll hold them for 2 weeks for you, and you can just drop by them whenever and pick it up. So when I went to Monday night actually to pick up the beers for you, JR, it was like I was in and out of there in 90 seconds. I had my beer ordered on Craft Cellar. They had a dual Chick-fil-A style drive-through setup where they would take your Craft Cellar orders or check them off, call into the brewery, and people would run out with your beer and hand it to you. It was great.
Wow.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we mentioned last week about Drizzly, which is one of the few national app-based alcohol delivery, and the other one's called Mini Bar, and both of those are just having incredible surges in business, pretty much equal to Amazon and Netflix. And it's I really hope that Craft Cellar is able also to grow that way. It's good to hear that there's some successful businesses coming out of what's going on today.
Yeah, I look forward to the day when we can get beer shipments legally to Georgia.
Yes.
Well, one of the things that they're doing out in the West Coast is, since there's no beer fest anywhere, this one company called they're doing virtual beer festivals. So it's through Rockstar Beer Festivals, and basically, depending on what state, what city you live in, they're doing stuff where you pay this money, they give you like 10 beers, and then at a certain time you log on to like Facebook, and they have like people come on. I guess Andy Milikanakis, some comedian, actor, whatever. He hosts it, and they'll have bands playing, so you can sit there, drink your beer. They'll have people talk about it, and that's like I said, they either will ship it to you if they're within that state, or if you live within that area, you go and you pick it up like the day before. So that's kind of like a new thing that might be happening more and more often.
That sounds like a lot of fun. It really does.
I think Ross had submitted something to our page about the breweries in North Carolina doing that, where they announced they're going to have somebody from the brewery talk, and they schedule it ahead of time.
Yeah.
So that's Ross.
Yeah. So Forgotten Road and Bond Brothers, somebody else recently. Basically, they do what they call a virtual tasting. And for instance, with the Bond Brothers and the Forgotten Roads as well, they put together like a mixed 4-pack, and they announced that, hey, we're going to do this virtual tasting, a week ahead of time, 10 days ahead of time or something. And these mixed 4-packs are available at the local bottle shops or from the brewery, and so you go pick it up, and then you join a session like this one where the brewer or whatever other representative from the company is going to be on, and they're going through the beers with you all at the same time, explaining any special processes involved, whatever the particular beer was. I mean, you don't have to crack all 4 of them. You can do whatever you want with them, but they'll discuss all 4 of those beers with a live session. They've been doing this Friday and Saturday nights for the past couple of probably for the last month. Some of them have, and there's also been wine. Some of the wine distributors are doing the same thing, with a wine distributing rep picking a wine per week and having a wine tasting on a Friday or Saturday night too.
I wonder if we could do some virtual beer dinners in the future with us. That could be an interesting podcast.
Yeah, we just have to line up a brewery. That's a great idea. But going back to Ross's thing, I think you'll have a lot more fun if you crack all 4. So, but yeah, let's pursue that idea. Anybody that has a relationship with a local brewer, if we can line that up, we'd love to have somebody on here, and we'll taste all 4.
All right. Speaking of tasting beer, who's up?
Well, you know what? I'm going to go. You know why? Because I've almost near the end of mine, and I don't want to be out of beer when it's my turn, because it's a fantastic beer. This is Darker Subject Matter by Monday Night Brewing in Atlanta. Now, I want to thank John Hill, our newest beer nut, who sent me this beer. Again, I just got it a couple hours ago and put it right in the freezer to chill it down quickly, and it's perfect drinking temperature. But it's a bourbon barrel imperial stout. Another thing I want to thank John for is the nice Tiku glass he included. That was a nice surprise, so thank you. And I've always wondered this, because it's Monday Night Brewing and it says garage on it. And I was going to ask John what that meant. And when I went on their website to get a description of this beer, it explains it. I guess the garage is one of their facilities where they produce all their barrel aged and sours. Can you confirm that, John?
Exactly. So their first brewery up in if you're standing in downtown, their first brewery is a little bit north west of downtown, like maybe 10 minutes. And they opened up the garage in sort of an old warehouse area that is right on the Atlanta Beltline, which is sort of a new up-and-coming park green strip that surrounds Atlanta. And they were the first ones to move in there about 2 years ago, and the glass you got is from their opening. They're still handing them out. But it's massive. They can do weddings there. They can do receptions there. They can do all kinds of things. And since they went down there, it's called the West End District. We've had two more breweries and one more in development, as well as a bottle shop and a beer-themed restaurant and a distillery have all moved into this same area, and they're all within a 5-minute walking distance of each other. And the locals have started calling it Malt Disney. It's just
awesome. Malt Disney. Love it. Well, I'd be next time in the Atlanta area, I'll be taking an Uber to that area. Sounds like you hit a lot of places in a short area. So, another reason I thank you for this glass is when I moved a little over a year ago from Michigan to Arizona, and I had to make a lot of tough choices about what I could bring. And I pared down my beer glass collection considerably, and I got rid of all my Tekus because I figured if anything was going to break during the move, it was going to be a Teku because they're kind of, I guess, breakable, break easily with the long stem. But so I really don't have a Teku. This is going to be my first one back in my collection. So thank you again for that. So let's move on to the beer. I mean, what I like about this beer is there's no adjuncts in it. It's just pure roasty dark stout aged in bourbon barrels. So, and not that I don't love a good pastry stout, because you guys all know I do, and most of us do. Give me some vanilla beans and hazelnuts, and all day long I like that stuff. But it is nice for a change just to drink. What they say, beer that tastes like beer. This is just this is from the malt. And you just get a great, nice chocolatey caramel malt, roasty dark malt. Kind of like people that like black coffee, like just a dark roasty stout, and that's what this is. I do get a little bit of the bourbon, but it's not like hot. It's good, really well balanced, and so I'm gonna holding it up to you. It's coal black, very nice, long lasting head. I'm impressed by that. A lot of these just go completely. There's no head left. It's nice, that nice dark, really pretty significantly brown. Darker brown, nice healthy head here. So nice carbonation in this. I can definitely smell the bourbon and the malt on the nose.
Yeah, one thing I'm surprised that you actually like pastry stouts. Just seeing how you look and everything, I was kind of a little bit shocked hearing that.
Well, I love pastry stouts. I love all stouts. So it's always stout season here in Arizona, even though it was like 95 degrees here today. So again, I'm going to taste this again. There's no lactose in this. There's nothing artificial. It's just from my old home brewing days, which I really do miss, and I'm going to be getting back into soon. Got a little bit of an announcement about that when I'm done with this, but just really nice. I love that dark roasty stout. It's I was surprised. It really does not drink like a 13.5er, but let me go to their website. Here it says, we couldn't leave well enough alone, could we? We took dark subject matter, our silky smooth adjunct-free American Imperial Stout, and aged it in bourbon barrels. The result is roasty, toasty, boozy, and sweet barrel-aged stout that's pretty darn perfectly paired with a fine cigar, a hot fudge sundae, or just by itself. 13.5% ABV, and I'm surprised. It's fantastic. There's slightly sweet, but it's not sweet from any adjunct. It's sweet just from a lot of nice, great roasty malt, and it's really a fantastic beer that I'm thoroughly enjoying. So thank you, John, for getting this in my hands.
ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth, and as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth, and as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth, and as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Before I move on, and I'm sure John would probably like to comment on this beer. I hope he will anyway. I want to just announce that I am going to I make a decision whether I was either going to just stop brewing and just buy good beer and admire all the beers you guys brew, or I was going to say, you know what, I really miss brewing and I want to get back to it. And I guess I kind of reached a moment where I had to make that call. I was asked to judge for my local homebrew club because they're like, well, we need somebody to judge, and since you're not really brewing, you won't have any beers to enter in the competition. And it kind of made me feel like a second-class citizen, like, well, since you're not really brewing, you can at least be a judge for us. So I was just kind of motivated me to say, you know what, every time I see Dugout posting a picture on Facebook of him, you know, with his brew equipment and, you know, his garage with friends, and then he posts a picture of the beer he brewed and how good it tastes, I'm like, I'm just so jealous and feel like I missed that part of my life. And I don't have enough hobbies here. Golf's really about it right now. You know, this whole COVID thing would have been a great chance. I know a lot of you guys have been brewing a lot because there's plenty of free time and you're home a lot. So I am going to invest in a Foundry electric brewing system. If I pay for one now, I won't get. They're not shipping any out till mid-June, but I'm taking the plunge. I got a bonus from work recently, or I haven't received it yet, but I'm getting a bonus from work, and I'm going to buy what I want and start brewing again. So in the meantime, I need to kind of like wade slowly back in. So I am going to try Chris's Pico brew out. It's cleaned up and it's ready to go as soon as I can. I'm trying to decide whether to try to fidget around with my own ingredients and be a rebel with it, or, you know, suck it up and get like a kit that comes with it and do that, which I really don't want to do unless it's my only possibility.
So what you're saying, you got the bonus and permission, right?
What's that?
You got the bonus and permission, right?
I kind of got the permission because I got the bonus, but I didn't ask. I told, and then I waited for the reaction, and it really wasn't.
That's asking.
When I moved away, I did tell her that I told my wife I was gonna buy, sell off all my equipment, and then when I got here, I was gonna have to buy different stuff. There's still a long road ahead. I got to get the brewing equipment, then I'm gonna have to get a freezer with a temperature controller, because there's no way I can ferment in the temperatures here in Arizona. I'm going to have a controlled environment to ferment. And then I don't even know what I'm going to do with the beer when it's brewed. I might have to get another refrigerated unit to store, you know, the beer when it's ready to drink, but I'll burn that bridge when I get to it. So, but I just decided I'm all in. I'm going to order this thing, and when it shows up in June, I'm going to be ready. It's probably going to be like 115 degrees by then here. So it may be the fall till I really start. Well, I'm sure once I get it, I'm going to want to fire it up. So I'll keep you posted.
If you have any left over, you can always send it to Doug and I, because, you know, we're already drinking all your extra beer.
Oh, well.
JR, I got a question about the beer you're drinking tonight.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a cigar smoker. I enjoy a good cigar, and I know I've smoked a cigar with you at an Eagles game while Ross watched us while he was drinking whatever he was drinking. The beer I'm drinking tonight, the Mexican Cake, would go amazing with like a nice, thick, rich, heavy, earthy cigar. The beer you're drinking, you said that, you know, it would go good with a meal. Do you think that kind of heaviness would go good with a cigar?
Oh, absolutely. No question. This is one of those beers that you see people post on Facebook with the cigar over it and the cutter.
Right. Right.
You know, it's definitely one of those. You know, I really like Monte Cristo. That's kind of my preferred brand.
I like whatever my friends are smoking.
I don't like Macanudos. That's like the seltzers of cigars, a real light.
I'm not a fan.
That's just like sucking styrofoam for me. But so I would definitely enjoy this with a Monte Cristo.
I would say if we're going to talk about cigars real quick with beers, this particular beer, this Mexican Cake, would go with a Gurkha Evil. Is what I would drink. What I would smoke with this. It's a nice, heavy, earthy cigar that would complement the pepper.
Right. Amen, man. Well, thanks again, John Hill. We might as well move to you next, and you can comment on this beer and tell us about yours.
Yeah, sure. Monday Night makes their whole portfolio is pretty good. They're really well known for their IPAs. Their stouts for sure, but their IPAs, they're really starting to nail the New England style IPAs. But if you guys haven't heard about the brewery, I figure that's kind of a fun story too. They're one of our older craft breweries. I don't know exactly how old they are, maybe 7 years old, but they've become probably the second biggest in Atlanta next to Sweetwater, which is the biggest in Georgia. They got their name Monday Night because the guys, there's 3 founders, and they were home brewers, and they also went to church, and they decided to do a Monday night Bible study, and that turned into home brewing along with Bible study. Then they had way too much beer, so they started inviting friends over, and then they had 50, 60 people in their backyard, and they decided, well, heck, let's start a brewery. And so that was where the name came from. And they're just super, super people. And brew a good beer. So I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it.
Absolutely.
So keeping with the Georgia brewing theme, I'm drinking the Cherry Street 1212. Cherry Street's another fantastic Georgia brewery. They're off the radar a bit because they're just far enough out of Atlanta to be super inconvenient. It's 45 minute to an hour drive for me to get up there. And they're in Cumming, Georgia. Great barrel program, good IPAs, and the 12-12-12 that's their anniversary was in 2012. But they brew this beer with 12 different malts, 12 different hops. Then they age it for 12 months in a particular whiskey or bourbon barrel, and it's 12%. So a little bit of a theme there. And each year they release multiple versions of it aged in different barrels, and the only thing that changes is the barrel. So this last year they did 4 different versions, and it was just awesome to go in there and have a flight of the same barley wine and sample them, and you were just tasting the difference between Baker's barrel and the Woodford barrel, and it was just fantastic. But I'm about halfway through it now because I didn't know the rules about opening it once you're ready to taste, but it is everything an English barley wine should be, which these guys nail. They make one of the best barley wines in the state. Just caramely, nougaty, smells like bread. And this particular one with the Baker barrel, it's got a little bit more spicy finish to it. I would have guessed it was rye, but I think it's bourbon. But they just nail it. So if you guys can keep an eye on Georgia around December, they'll be releasing these at the brewery. And they also do the Craft Cellar app, too, and they do proxies. So let me know.
So there really are no rules other than your first time you ever drink, you have to get that same beer for every beer nut for next December.
Those are awesome rules.
Picked a good one. Anyway, welcome to the show, and that's a great review, and glad that you could bring a part of the country that we've never had represented to us, and we hope you'll be joining us for future episodes. So welcome to the show.
I got to say, at this point, I started looking at Monday Night Brewing when he was talking about it, and I looked at their small batch. They've got a stout called Tears of My Enemies, where they made a maple cognac barrel aged version. Pretty good. I was like,
I think I have some. I think I got some Tears of My Enemies in the mail today. In the box John sent me, and whenever I think of that, I think of the Dallas Cowboys. Tears of My
Imagine how much a cognac barrel Imagine how much a cognac barrel on its own, empty, just costs, or rather, just getting a hold of one, and then having enough, like confidence that the beer you're putting in there is going to be awesome. Because if not, you're flushing a whole lot of dough down the toilet.
Well, that is a great beer, and they've been doing that for 3 years. I think this is the last year they're doing Tears of My Enemy. They're going to do another one next year, but they will do the same beer, and then they will throw it into different barrels with different adjuncts. And then,
I saw they had different versions of it. They had the apple brandy and rum, but I was like, that cognac one, I was like, ooh, that looks good. But
well, they do an event every year too around the release of that one, where you get to go in and unlimited pours essentially of all of them, and they'll usually bring in ones from the previous year, and then they'll do food pairings with it too. And I think it was last year where they also had the empty barrels out there, so you could pull the cork out and smell what the inside of the cognac barrel smelled like after they'd emptied it. It was really cool.
Nice.
That's nice.
John, I had my mute button on. I said my uncle lives in Johns Creek, Georgia. Is that near Cherry Street?
It is much closer to Cherry Street than I am. Probably about halfway there. So,
okay.
20-minute shot, I guess.
Gotcha. I went to some great breweries when I was there. Atlanta's a good beer town.
It is. We've been crippled by some pretty horrible beer laws for years, but it's starting to take off a little bit, which is, and the community is just great. We've got a great beer community.
Awesome. Well, all right. Steve V, I don't think we've heard from you yet, have we?
No, you have not.
I think your time has come.
Can you hear it in my voice?
Yes.
Okay. I've been drinking, so it hasn't been that horrible. But like I said earlier, my choice today is from Breakside Brewery from Portland, Oregon, and this is their Pilsner. Back earlier in the show when I opened it, I took a good whiff, and it reminded me of my dad. It had that scent, that smell of like some old Schlitz malt liquor. He always drank that. He always had one every night, and it had that smell. This is a German Pilsner, even though that's American, but it did bring back some memories. But my first taste of it, and I'll have another taste because I've been drinking all the time, but the taste of it is so refreshing. It has a really great floral taste to it, and it doesn't have that heavy carbonated finish, like your other Pilsners would have. This is only a 5.2%, so you can drink this thing all day. I'm sad that my sister is no longer going to be living up in Portland or close to Portland. She used to bring me some of these beers, and I would have definitely had her bring me some more of this, because this is really, really great Pilsner. In the description it says grass, but I don't get that grass. Sometimes you get these Pilsners and they're like really, really grassy taste to them. This doesn't have that at all. It's very light, very floral, not grass. It's very, very enjoyable. The color of it's really light, clear. It had a decent head when I poured it, but that dissipates right away. And even as I've been sitting here and I've had it out for a while, and as it kind of warmed up a little bit, you start getting a little more of the taste, a little tastier. So yeah, really, really good beer. I'm really impressed with that. Like I said, I really can't say Pilsners would be my choice, but I wanted to go out of my usual and try this, and I was really, really impressed.
Yeah, probably not that often that we review a Pilsner unless we have a lager or Pilsner theme of the show, but it's getting, now that I'm living in such a warm climate, even though I say it's stout season year round, I mean, when you come in the house from a 95, 98, 110 degree day, it's nice to get a nice Pils. And Tombstone recently released some great lighter lagers, and their Pils is really, really fantastic. I have some of that in the fridge now, and that's the great time to come in and enjoy one of those. And I used to kind of overlook or look down on the just another yellow lager, but there's really a lot of character to some of these, and when they're brewed to style, especially with the right ingredients, fantastic brews, and there's always a good time and a place for them, and a hot day is a perfect occasion. So I saw a couple people reach for a second beer. Anybody want to go ahead?
I was saying, JR, I wouldn't be surprised if Tombstone used some of the same hops, since they get a lot of their Oregon. They use a lot of Oregon hops. So
yeah, absolutely. Now they just released a Rauch beer, which I'm really excited about because I like smoky stuff. So a Mexican lager, but it's more like the Negra Modelo. It's the darker dark lager. So can't wait for my next trip down there. I'm going to grab a 4-pack of each of those, and I'm really excited about the Rauch beer. That's not a style most people like, but it's something I like because I like smoky stuff. So again, I wanted to see if anybody. I saw a couple people. For those of you listening to the show, we normally don't do cameras. We just do audio. But last week with the virtual happy hour, we started actually being able to see each other while we do it, kind of as the virtual happy hour theme. And we did that again tonight. So I actually got to see a few people sneak in a second beer. Well, not really sneaking because nobody's hiding it. So anybody want to quickly talk about any of their second beer before we go to Mexico City?
I could real quick talk about. I have the Perfect Disguise double IPA from Dogfish Head. It's 8%. It's just a nice double IPA. It's got nice kind of malty sweetness to it. It's very got a very nice bitterness to it, and just a good quality double IPA. It's the color is light, and that's why they actually say that you pour it and you think you're pouring a Kolsch or something like that, because the color is so light. But then you get a whiff of it and you get a taste of it, and it's like, whoa, this is an IPA, or this is a double IPA. This, I was expecting a Kolsch or a lager or something like that. And bam, you get this big hop hit, like smack in the face, and it's like, wow. But if you're expecting it, then it's a really nice double IPA. And I do have to say one thing too, Jar, if you're looking for a good smoked summer light beer, you got to get yourself a Piwo Grodziskie.
Sounds good to me. Isn't that a Polish beer? Yep.
Actually, Doug and I made a 10-gallon batch of that.
That was my warm-up beer.
That was your warm-up?
It was my warm-up. It's still carbonating. I got champagne yeast in it, and it's still got a few weeks to go, I'll be honest. But, man, it's so clear and yellow, and the bubbles are starting to go like the really fine champagne bubbles. So, yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah, I
I'm on
carved
another
mine.
homebrew right now, by the way. I'm on the root beer, which is undercarbonated in the bottle, and I'm about to do a risky operation on some bottles. I'm going to open them up. I'm going to add conditioning tablets and close them up real fast. And I'm going to drop the tablets hard so that some CO2 comes out, maybe pushes the oxygen out before I can recap them.
Sweet. Anybody else? Any homebrew news?
I just tried my Belgian Pale Ale that came out absolutely fantastic. That actually just started carbing it Saturday. I don't know, but I hooked it up to the put it in a keg, hooked it up to the CO2 at like 45 psi, and here we are, 3-4 days later, and I think I might have to let a little bit of the carbonation out. So I poured a glass. I had a nice big 3-inch nice foamy head on it. But the beer was fabulous.
Well, you reviewed a Dogfish Head beer. I'm going to ask Scott about a special beer that he recently acquired. We're not going to drink it tonight, but I'm real excited about something he recently acquired that he might be able to talk about a little bit before we go to Mexico.
I got to make sure that I'm up. Yeah, I'm up. I got the new barrel-aged worldwide stout which is available now in the Delaware area. And I picked up 2 4-packs at this point. I'm probably going to go back on Thursday and pick up 2 more 4-packs.
Those are delicious.
I won't know.
Absolutely delicious.
Have you had
barrel aged?
Yeah, I got the barrel aged one. I also had a vanilla barrel aged version of it.
Isn't this is this the one that was with the Sam Adams stuff?
No, that's a different one.
That's a different one.
That's a different.
The purple.
I don't know if that's out yet.
I don't recall ever having.
It's like 4 or 5 years old now. This is the brand new one from this year, and it's gonna take. I'm gonna let it sit for a couple of years before I even sip it.
I'm gonna say that I don't recall ever having a bourbon barrel aged.
They did. The purple label.
They did?
Is
I don't remember having that.
No, they've not done a BA one before, Scott. That's new.
I thought the purple was BA. Wasn't
No,
it?
the purple's the regular one. The purple label's the regular one.
I stand corrected. Okay.
Well, I'm excited. So thank you for procuring those, and
I'm going to try to get you a 4-pack. That's what I've been texting Ross back and forth about it prior to this conversation. I'm going to try to make sure that I can send you a 4-pack.
well, that would be awesome. Thank you. And even if it's just a couple bottles, I'd be thrilled to have that. So good to have somebody near Dogfish Head. It's good to have friends all over the country like this, and kind of wish we could have Dan Geist back with us from the Heartland in Missouri. So that would be really cool if he's able to join us in the near future. I think he has some work obligations. He hasn't been able to really come on much lately, but it's a shout out to him.
Like hearing his mother brewing stories.
Yeah. Yep. So, but it's great. You had a really big turnout, a lot of people, and I think we really enjoy this new format of just kind of jumping around and maybe not being so structured. So we'll probably continue on with that until further notice. So any final comments or any more second beers before we head to Mexico? Last call, everybody. Last call.
I've got one more beer. Just cracked it. This is, speaking of Monday night, this is, I think I sent this one to you, John, the tiger that killed my father.
Oh, yeah.
I was just reading about that. I was just reading about that one, too. That one looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Does that say? Did I see that say maple bourbon barrel on there?
Yeah. So it's a maple bourbon barrel aged double mash imperial rye stout with vanilla. The tiger that killed my father is a vanilla bomb of an imperial rye stout, medicinal maple bourbon barrels with vanilla beans sourced from Uganda, Madagascar, and Indonesia. And they did 2 versions of this. They did one that's the maple version and one that's the bourbon version. And you would think that this might have been related to the Tiger King phenomenon, but it just happened to be happy luck that they were releasing this right as all that came out. So they got a little extra marketing locally for that, and it was near the start of the whole COVID thing. And when they released these, it was really cool. They did a Zoom session with the head brewer and with the CEO, and they did both bottles and did a tasting, and it was delicious. But it pours jet black. It's 13%, I think. You can smell the maple a little bit, and then when you drink it, it's like just a ton of vanilla. I'm not getting much rye, but it's definitely a vanilla bomb. So I think that's one you got, John. I hope you enjoy it.
I'm sure I will. It sounds fantastic. So when I heard the name, the tiger that killed your father, I'm sure a lot of these Detroit guys probably can think of a reliever or two that might have killed their father. It's Detroit Tigers fans over the years. Anybody think of a really bad reliever that might have killed your father?
What was his name? I purposely forgot his name because that was like the World Series.
Yeah.
Was it Valverde?
Oh, yeah.
Gave up the home run to Big Papi that basically...
Jose Valverde, I think it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that might have been the tiger that killed somebody's father. So, all right, man. Well, hey, it's been a good night, good episode. So thanks, everybody, for listening. Chris isn't here to pimp out all the places you can find us, but I think Apple Apple Tunes. What's that? Spreaker, I think, is another one. Or just go to ChristopherMedia.net and look up Beer Nuts on one of his many podcasts. So thanks for joining us. Please reach out to us on @BeerNutsPodcast on Twitter, Beer Nuts Podcast on Instagram. Everybody that had a beer tonight, hopefully you took a picture of it. Post it to our Facebook page or to Instagram, and or send it to me and I'll post it, because I don't think all of us have rights to do that, but I'm trying to get better.
Did you get the picture I sent earlier? Did you get the picture I sent earlier during the chat?
I'm not going to post that to Instagram. I can see plenty of that. So yeah, it has opened up a little new world of humor for us, being able to see things online. So yeah, we'll be back next week with another show with more great beers. Thanks everybody for listening, and as they say in old Mexico City, A-A-M-F.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth, and as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast, and check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new: our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth, and as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast, and check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new: our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.